Okay, so back. Apologies about that. I'm going to start again just very quickly. So this stream is going to be covering off something new using Portswigger's web security kind of tool and training platform. It's pretty good. I haven't really used it yet, but yeah, there's a bunch of things. So there's different learning pathways that you can do, covering off most of the kind of common web application security, even API security vulnerabilities. So things like SQL injection and command injection and that kind of stuff. In this one, we're going to cover off information disclosure vulnerabilities. So what are information disclosure vulnerabilities? These are kind of vulnerabilities that result in information being leaked to an attacker. So this can be anything from credentials to system architecture type information, such as server versions or frameworks and libraries being used. So yeah, and that can come in a different variety of disguises. So one being web page, so maybe even comments on a web page, or things like robots.txt that can start revealing directories within a website. Error pages, that's often a common one. So things like stack traces in there, and even more information, especially if it's like the development mode enabled on frameworks such as Ruby, on Rails, and even like things like Django, which is Python, or accidentally leaking information, such as leaving API keys lying about, and get kind of the get metadata or whatever you want to call that, leaving those about. So we're going to dive into some of the labs here. If you want to find out more about information disclosure, have a look at this, dive into there, see what there is. But yeah, let's go into some of the labs. So if we go into the labs, they're structured from apprentice working their way up. So we'll try some of these and see how it goes. So, and I've not tried any of the labs. There are cool things. So there are videos given it. Generally don't want to go to the solution, but that will give it away if you really get stuck. So let's give this a whirl. While that's spinning up, we are going to go to terminal. Sorry, I'm just also trying to set up the VM itself, because I had a great fun last week of my entire kind of VM. My hard drive crashed, so I've had to reinstall everything. My SSD kind of took a dump, and yeah, I've now had to reinstall everything, including my VMs. So one of the things I'm going to do is just actually remove Burp Suite. I think it's just Burp Suite, so I can install the later version, not the version that comes with Kali. Sorry, I haven't had time to do this before. It did last week, so I really haven't had time. Ironically, we are on. Yeah, so we should be able to download Community Edition. Let's download this. I really wish I had time to do this before, but we'll get there. Is it still downloading? Okay, it's downloaded now. So as you can see, one of the things I'm doing is having themes, because I like my themes. But yeah, we'll get this. Let's go. Let's install Burp quickly. I don't even know if we'd need Burp. We might not even need Burp, but we'll have it installed that way, just in case. Just want to make sure. It's just running slowly. There we go. Come out like there. There we go. All right, we're getting there. Okay. Have to make it dark mode. Okay, now we are almost cool. So copy that. Put in, yeah. All right, so it's there. Go. I don't know if I have to be logged in there, but we'll see what happens. So let's see, is there anything in... So typically one place to look is in the HTML to see if there's any sort of comments left by a developer, which in this case, it doesn't look like it. That's just a header. Just clicking through. Like even in the JavaScript, they might have left it there. So no. Okay, so in the error messages. So that's there. So I guess we're going to just get an error message. So what we could do is try do like that, not found. So that's causing an error 404, but nothing there. Okay. What else can we do? Is there anything else? Back to lists, home, view details. Okay, so the other thing we can do is cause an error there. Not found. Make it 100 or cause it to be non-numeric. There we go. Okay. So this is kind of what I was talking about when you got things like stack trace. So we can see this is running Java. And more so it's running on Apache Struts, and we can see the version. So in this case, we would go off, try to do a search. So you can use something like vulndb. So let's actually just see if this version is even vulnerable. So we can go off to vulndb. All right, not that one. This is the one that always gets me. I'm trying to remember the vulnerability database thread. Oh, it's actually here, exploit DB. And we're 2.3.31, so Apache Struts. Come on. There we go. And we are looking for 2.3.31. So those aren't, but there we go. So you got things like that's vulnerable. Which is weird, the dates are different. Anyway. Oh, no, sorry, 2.16. So things like this. Maybe. That's RCE. Which looks like this could be vulnerable. I don't know what version this is up to. But yeah, you kind of get the deal here, and you can go onwards. It's just things RCE and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's where we're at with that one. So if we come submit the solution. I don't know what we're supposed to put in. That? Okay. Cool. So that's one down. Refresh this now. Where is information? Wait, did we not solve this? Solved. Okay. Don't know what. Oh, there we go. So a debug page. So there's probably some page that we're going to go look at. Let's let this load. Okay, so it looks to be the same app. Let's just come back here. Top, boop. So it's probably some page. So information on disclosure on debug page. So there's probably a debug page. So one thing that we can do is look at robots.txt. Now, robots.txt is a file that's used by search engines, web crawlers, and they define what they should and shouldn't do in terms of parsing a website. Now, the problem is some put in very specific details in there that contain like directories and that, rather than disallow, which means don't crawl it. So then you can start building up the structure of directories. But this one doesn't seem to have a robots.txt. Now, we do know that it's running Apache Struts, right? So if we look for Apache Struts debug page, is there a debug page for Apache Struts? So it looks like we just do that. Let's try browser. What happens if we try that? Okay. XML. It didn't look like it did anything. Debug equals XML. Debug interceptor, blah, blah, blah. That's weird. That doesn't seem to work. Let's just open a few of these. Dev mode. Yeah. Don't know. There's probably some page that we're gonna go to. Debug config browser. Dev mode. Yeah, you see it should be just that. It doesn't look like that's working. Let's just make sure that it is actually running Apache Struts again. Goodness me. All right. Not found. This is a tricky one. And it says it's apprentice level. Is there something in the actual logs? Okay. Contains a debug page to solve the lab. Submit secret key in the environment variable. I'm pretty certain it's got to do with this. So let's try index.action. Index.action. Will that work? Not found. Found. Sometimes .do also is part of Apache struts, but nope. Nah. This is a tricky one. This looks a bit more interesting. So debug mode. Okay, so I don't know. How do you get into debug mode? Do all right, so debug tag action. That's not really helpful, is it? I might need to come back to this one. That one's an apprentice. Yikes, this is hard. See if there's something in the logs in the information yet. No. A tricky one. So normally what I would do is you could actually go to Burp Suite. The easy way is if you have Pro, which we don't on this case, but you can go engagement tools and then discover content, and then this should hopefully find the debug page. I guess it's just a page. I don't know if this is even going to work. Like something like debug. No, it's not going to work. There must be a page somewhere. So what we could even try to do is look at Dirbuster. I don't remember how to use Dirbuster. Should be Dirbuster. It's just going to be that. There we go. So if we do this, I always forget where it is. Is it in user share word list? I think. Word lists. So let's use. That's Apache user enumeration. Don't think that's going to be it. User share. Word lists. Dirbuster. Oh, what the hell? Let's just try that. Talk is not a valid URL. What? Let's start that. See what it does. I don't think that. There's normally seclist is a good one. This is a pretty good word list that has loads and loads and loads of lists. Very, very good. And it's not just got word lists. It's got a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to put that in. documents here. Just gonna clone this. Where's that? Off it goes. All right, so I did with a PHP. So let's let that run. See how that goes. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop this because that word list is not going to be worthwhile. And let's just remove the file extension. So it would be under discovery, web content, and then there should be Apache. Apache files could be a good start. Might even be is there struts. Is there struts here? No. Apache. That was there. I thought there was a Apache. Combined directories.txt. So let's go have a look. Is it finished? Oh no, it's still going. Slow. Just don't know. What am I doing? I'm attempted to get that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna download this, run the Derbuster, and then just let it run in the background. And we'll try another lab in the meantime. Lots of goodies in there. Come on. Okay, so we're gonna use cyclists, web content, and then I think it was, what was it? It was combined. No, it was combined directories.txt. Well, actually, let's just start off with Apache one. I think it should be relatively small. Let's just start off with this. Let's see, 10 threads. Okay, let's try that. If you're going to brute force files, you must say what extension is. Okay. I don't know what extension that is. .action. We'll see how this goes. Because the extensions, there's no extension. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. Actually, just out of interest, what happens if you go to product? What's the product ID? Prod. I know it's a long shot, but damn it. Cheeky. Cool. So let's let that go off and do its thing. We'll come back to this lab. I have no idea. I'm not a Apache Struts guru, so this one might be a bit more useful. So let's go off and access this lab. I'll just close these out. So that and just do this in a new tab. There we go. Okay, so looks like the same kind of app. And this is source code via backup files. So again, probably Derbuster, that's going to do a look. But yeah, there's nothing there. Ah, that sucks. Actually, I don't like it with the extension, because there is no extension. Oh, dope. Let's just do this again with no extension. Has it stopped? Let's see the report. No. No. Results. Okay, none. So let's try a new one. Let's just try this lab here. So because this one's the backup one, we probably want to have a bit more scope to this. So probably want to look at common. So there might even be a backup. Is there a backup? No. This is often the most difficult bit, is just getting the right word list. Let's just try that one. This is, yeah, often I've spent weeks or like a week on what was a really simple exercise, and it just took a week because I had the wrong word list. So that's often the difficulty with some of these. If we're going to SecList, they might actually provide a bit more information as well in terms of which kind of lists we need to look to in the README. Guess not. Discovery, web content. There's this, but I don't know. Combined words. And the problem is that these could take a while to run as well. Could also just try some obvious ones. So backup. Hey, what do you know? Should have tried that in the first place. So in this case, what is it asking for? Source code for this to solve the lab. Identify and submit the database password in the source code. So if you just come here, and so yeah, this is a good example of where information disclosure and things that you don't realize that you put out there can easily be accessed. So this would be kind of be a security through obscurity. Oh no, and because the backup URL is not browsable from the landing page, someone might assume, well, no one knows it's there, so therefore they're going to go off and be fine. And worse yet, have things like database passwords stored in plain text available from that. And yeah, that's not great. I gotta learn how to run the Buster because it's not finding things, and I would expect it to be in there. But anyway, we found it. So if we now take that and come back to the lab and submit it again, should be good. Yay. So again, just highlighting why you need to have proper controls around it. So you definitely don't want to do backups in the same directory as you serve in the web content. So if you're going to do a backup, make sure it's put in a totally separate location, preferably away from the web server itself. and then that way you're going to protect the code, and also don't hard code keys and code. That's also to be said. Cool. So, let's carry on and try to do another lab. For a lot of these information disclosures, you're probably looking to do a lot of what do you call it? Web crawling and that kind of thing. This is where the limitations of Burp Suite Community Edition come in. So some of the things you want to do is you want to do a web crawl, so you can try to get as much of the site as you can. You can actually use tools such as curl and wget to do that. You can actually mirror sites. But if you use Burp Pro, it's a really good tool for doing that. And then the other thing is you can then search across multiple requests and responses. So let's come in and debugging data. Let's try to see if we can find out more information about this. So many websites, error messages. Debugging information, separate file. Okay, yeah, still not not any clearer. Where's the labs? Where's the list of labs? It's coming, yeah. Right, so we've done that one. Authentication bypass via information disclosure. Practical to exploit without knowledge of custom HTTP header used by the front end to solve this lab. Header name needs to be you. Access the element. Delete. You can log into your own account using the following credentials. Okay, so I guess we're going to log in with that, and then it will be a case of trying to access the admin account. So let's load this in. Come back to this. All right, so let's just clear the logs. Yeah. My account, and we're going to log in with Wino and Peter as the password. Okay, so let's see what that looks like in terms of authentication headers and that kind of thing. So, well, there we go. So it's got a CSRF token. You got a session cookie. Okay, so once you've logged in, you get a session cookie, so nothing there, but there must be some other header. I don't know if this would even be classed as information disclosure. Maybe there's somewhere else. So actually, what is this? So this is like WebSockets. It's a session ID key. All right. Let's just put as what happens when we do that. Okay. So, and then we just got to change the access the admin interface. Okay. So what happens when we do change that cookie? So I can't see anything there. And if we go to like admin interface, only available for local users. Okay. So what we could do is, so it says only available for local users. So maybe what it's using is the host header itself to determine if it's a local user or not. So if we go here and we render it, okay, so if we now change this to local host, what happens then? Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So we're going to forbidden. So we need to log in as the admin user. Getting somewhere. One is we need to access the admin account. My account, log out. So admin. No. Gosh. Also got a CSRF token. What happens if we don't send that? Does it actually complain? No. It also says, okay, so admin bypass vulnerability as an authenticate. Okay, so it's got authentication bypass vulnerability. And there's a custom HTTP header used by the front end. Now, custom headers typically have X dash in front of them. But I don't see anything here. Don't know what the custom header would be. Anything in the WebSockets page? No. This is gonna be fun. What's it? Yeah, just trying to see if I can find the header. Oh, this is WebSocket key. Start interest. If we decode this, basics. Oh, that's something else. If there's any information on the page itself, not solved. Okay. I think this is actually to do with that, but they're not actually the lab itself. There's no other sort of JavaScript or anything like that. So yeah, it would be a case of trying to figure out the header. I don't even know what it would be. And this one we kind of got stuck on. So what I need to do is spend a bit more time looking at this. But yeah, I will hopefully come back to this. Still finding my feet and getting rusty. As I said, patchy structs is not my strong point. But yeah, hopefully we can figure out a way around this. I'm just really, really curious because there's definitely a header. What that header is, I don't know. Maybe there's something in the CSS. So in this case, it would actually be trying to find the header itself, what the header name is, and maybe what the value needs to set it to. But I have no idea what that header is. But yeah, quickly see if there's anything easier. Okay, so the next one is version control. So this would be Git. That would be pretty interesting. So yeah, we're still going to figure out the debug page and the header, the custom header. I'm really, really, really curious what the custom header could be. Maybe they've got some kind of hints within the further information. So there's just trying to see if there's any sort of pointers to headers within your let's see if we go exploiting. So is there any headers? Let's find the account pages because of that access control to insecure. So okay, so we can maybe try trace. Let's try that. See what happens there. So if we do trace, host cookie session. That looks pretty interesting. So let's come back here. Add this. So as I said, that is x dash something is typically your custom header. So that anything there, render. Okay, so localhost 27.0.0.1. There we go. Yay! So that's what you have to do is add that in. So all we need to do is now come to Peter. So just go to admin. Just intercept it. In this page here and going to admin. And we're going to add this header. So yeah, trace is one of the headers that you want to disable on your servers. You definitely don't want to have that enabled. So in this case, and so this one here, and what do you say? Carlos accounts. Delete that. I think that should be fun. So did we solve it? Ah, damn it. Oh, great. I knew that was going to happen. Yet. So I'll just send this to repeater. We didn't add that header in. So if we send that now, it should be found. There we go. So we solved that. So yeah, I still don't know what the other lab is in terms of the debug. So we could always just go in and have a look. I'm just really curious what it is. I'm gonna cheat. Okay, so I was definitely on the wrong track. Based on the first lab, I thought it was a Apache Struts, but it actually turns out to be a PHP app instead, which I would have never, ever, ever found it with Apache Struts. So again, this is pointing to why even information disclosure around things like servers and all of that kind of thing can make a big difference between accessing your or further information disclosure. So if we come here and try this lab again, would have never got this. So yeah, this here PHP info is kind of the default page that comes with PHP and enabled by default. And as you can see, it has a lot of information on it. And this is kind of stuff that you really don't want to expose externally. It's a lot of info, and I'm pretty sure there's, as we'll need to find it, is environmental variables. Now, environmental variables sometimes contains secrets, because that's one way folk actually use to try have share like API keys and passwords and that on a system, but not having a configuration file. So it's kind of short-lived and all of that kind of stuff. But then things like this can then expose that. So there we go. You can see all the environmental variables. So this is not good, and that's obviously exposing all of that information. So if we come back to the lab itself, put that in. So solve lab. So yeah, that's that. The next one is get. I don't know how difficult that one will be, but we can always come back to that one. Let's see. Let's try it out. See how quickly it's going to take. It shouldn't take long. Oh, come on. So if we okay, so back to the description. So let's take that, plunk that, yeah. So this is looks like version control. So in the past, the older one was subversion, so .svn, which is not there. Later ones are .get. So there we go. We can see .get. Now, this is where something like wget is really good. Mirror. I think there's a way to do it via wget. So let's just come here. Wget minus mirror. And then that should. So what this is doing is this is mirroring the site. So if we have a look at now. There we go, and there's our get. So what we can do is something like get status. And we should actually see there's the status of the get. Now, what we're looking for is obtain the password of administrator. So what people sometimes do is they'll do commits or even commit messages and include passwords in that. Or they might commit a file and go, I accidentally put in. So in this case, we can see there's the admin.conf. They accidentally deleted it. Well, Git has Git history. So what you can do is look at Git history. So Git, let's just actually look at the Git cheat sheet. I am no Git guru, but yeah, there's a few commands that you can use to actually view the version and see the history of the commits. So what we want to do is get the different Git commits and then look at each one. So there is, where is it? I'm trying to remember. Okay, yeah, so get log, number of commits. So we want to do get log minus 5. What? Oh, minus 5. Okay, so there we go. Now that's the obvious one. So what this is doing is this is getting the Git kind of history. So we want to get the difference for this commit. So what we're going to do is copy this. This is kind of like a hash of the commit. So it's pointed to that specific commit. And then you can do, so we could either do reset to that specific commit, or we can also do a diff on that commit using the actual commit branch. So can we do, it's a GIF diff, and I think, is it? So there we go. So we can either revert it to that commit, so that will put the file as it is in there, or we can do a get diff, and this is going to show the difference between a current file and the one in there. So we can see there's admin password, which is an environment variable. So that doesn't look like that is the password, right? So what about this? Get diff. There we go. There's admin password. Hey. So they obviously put in the password. Oops, I made a mistake. Put in the password to get from the environment variable, like I explained in the last one. And yeah, so don't ever include your Git repo with your app, because yeah, you can cause problems. You can do all the lovely Git stuff and get information from it. And then, so if you do make these, what kind of, we have to do? So that obtain them. Oh, and then log in and delete Carlos's account. Okay. What am I doing? So we should be able to log in as admin. Huh? Admin. Administrator. administrator. Yeah, so coming back to the Git stuff, you don't want to have your Git stuff within the web app, because then you can expose all of this information via Git commit history, which is not good. So copy that, and paste that. We should be in admin panel, and we'll delete Carlos's account. There we go. So yeah, if you do find yourself, and even generally outside of this, you probably want to make sure that you remove that. So you can do, it should be on the Git cheat sheet. There is a way to actually remove those. I forgot if there's in the cheat sheet itself. There is a way to actually delete those Git kind of messages and points in time. I don't know. Just trying to see if it's here. It's a good key. No, can't remember what the command is. I have to have a look. But yeah, there's a way that you can actually remove those so that they're not in the history. But of course, don't include your Git with your web server. So yeah, hopefully that's been useful. Sorry, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. Hopefully the next one will be a bit cleaner. Still get my head around this. And yeah, hopefully it's been helpful. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio.
Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home.